Hey, what's up guys? How's it going? I hope everyone who lives in the States actually had a great holiday weekend. I know I did. I got to see some friends from college who I've been able to hang out with in person for a long time now. And you know what? I spent pretty much the entire weekend with them, so it was great. I had a lot of fun. Anyway, we got chapter 206 of Eden Zero out, and this chapter actually has a cover page of Jinn in a very ninja aesthetic. And I gotta say, I'm really digging the design that Hero has for this, and I wish that was actually Jinn's post-time skip look going forward. I mean, hopefully, maybe after this arc, we might get to see him in a more ninja-like aesthetic. But as of right now, I'm really not digging the outfit he has, especially now after getting this cover page image and actually seeing exactly how cool he could look if he had the more ninja aesthetic. Speaking of Jinn, he actually might have, in my opinion, the most interesting part of this entire chapter, just because we get to see a lot of growth and development from his character and his short, limited interactions in this chapter, which isn't really saying much because this entire chapter is mostly just setup. I mean, there's a lot of reveals in this chapter, but for the most part, it's not anything really big or that urgent. So it's not really all that interesting. I mean, don't get me wrong, I had a lot of fun reading this chapter, but when you look at it compared to the last few chapters we've gotten ever since chapter 200, or even very yet ever since we got into the beginning of this arc, this chapter was actually kind of a dud when you compare it to those ones. And again, I'm not saying that this chapter was bad, I'm just saying when you compare it to the previous chapters we've gotten since this arc started, it just kind of falls short. Okay, so the chapter opens up when we check in with the Eden Zero ship, and we see them on the run from Dead End Crow, and we see that Connor and Herman are both worried about Kleene after she got knocked out of the sky in the last chapter, but before they can actually even try to do anything to mount a rescue for her, they actually end up getting hit by a giant laser beam that Dead End Crow shoots out of his mouth that actually ends up taking out one of the wings of the Eden Zero ship, which means over the next few chapters they're going to be grounded and at the mercy of Dead End Crow. And while the Eden Zero ship does actually have some pretty strong shields, with Crow and his overdrive, I don't think they're going to end up lasting very long. And this actually kind of goes into what I said in the last chapter review, that basically over the next few chapters, we're going to see all the good guys on like losing end of their fights, basically being pushed into a corner. And then once we actually get into the fight with Justice and Agnolia, that's when we're actually going to see everything kind of turn around once he actually, after being put into a corner, decides to team up with LZ to take her down. Because once that happens, we're going to go through the other fights and see them all rising back up. Then we actually cut back to Team Holly inside Dead End Crow, and we see that they're still in a panic over not being able to use their ether gears and the fact that they're quickly being overwhelmed by all the bots inside the Dead End Crow. And this is when we actually get a quick moment of character progression for Holly, because she actually tells Jinn to ignore what's going on right now and then leave Dead End Crow to go find Kleene, because she knows that him being her big brother, he must be very worried about what happened to her. And considering what we now know happened to her own little sister, I guess this is her basically sympathizing with him because of what she's also been through. But surprisingly enough, he actually refuses to leave and actually says that he promised Kleene that he actually wouldn't abandon Holly. And this is when we get a flashback to before they actually left to go inside Dead End Crow. And we find out that basically Kleene told Jinn that because Holly joined their ship, she is now a member of their family, and since she lost her sister, she needs someone to actually help her out and protect her. And since she's family, that's going to be Jinn's job to basically get her through what she's going through right now. And like I said in the beginning of the video, this is actually showing some huge character progress for Jinn, because pre-time skip, even if he actually had promised Kleene that he wouldn't abandon Holly, if she was in danger, he would abandon everyone and everything in order to go protect her. But instead, he's actually choosing to stay behind, honor his promise to her, and trusting Laguna to actually go outside Dead End Crow and find her and make sure she's safe. Which, I wonder if this is Hero actually kind of hinting at the idea that there might be a little bit of connection between Laguna and Kleene, you know, maybe a little bit of romance, maybe a little bit of shipping. I'm not exactly sure. I mean, we have seen multiple times that Laguna definitely does find Kleene attractive. He's mentioned it multiple times. So, maybe? I don't know. Also, this is when Hero reminds us that Jinn's robotic body is actually very versatile and has a lot of weapons in it. So he's actually the smart choice to choose to actually stay behind and protect Holly, since they can't use their ether gears, and let her actually make her way through Dead End Crow in order to find the core. Then we cut over to Team Rebecca, and we see Homer using her night gear to carry all the mothers over back to the Eden Zero, which is going to be a very interesting journey for her because she has to get past Dead End Crow, who is actively attacking the Eden Zero right now. So I'm wondering how that's actually going to factor into things. Is she going to get there just as they actually defeat him and be able to safely escort the mothers onto the ship? Or is she actually going to have to get involved in the fighting somehow, which I would imagine would be her, Kleene, and Laguna teaming up to kind of distract Dead End Crow from the outside, while Jinn and Holly actually try to take him down from the inside. And then this is when we get the first big reveal from the chapter. So remember a few chapters ago when Ziggy actually revealed that he knew about Operation Planet Eater, and we all just kind of ignore Wise's idea that there might be a traitor amongst them? Well, we end up finding out in this chapter there actually was a traitor, and it was apparently Pino this entire time. Now, I mean, it's not like Pino was actively betraying them. What we ended up finding out happened was that Ziggy basically hacked into her memories and just read off the data about their plan. But because he hacked into her memories, apparently he actually left some information behind, or a record behind, that Pino was actually able to access and analyze, and because of that, she's heading over to the fight between Shiki and Ziggy because she now knows the information needed in order to take down Ziggy. Well, speaking of which, we actually head over to their fight, and we get to see that Ziggy is just like I said in the last chapter, one-sidedly handling Shiki in this chapter. I mean, Shiki does not even get to land a single punch on Ziggy that actually does any damage. Ziggy just kind of throws him around for the entirety of the ending of the chapter, and then traps him into like a giant gravity ball that seemingly crushes Shiki. Now, honestly, he's not dead, but he's taken a lot of damage in this fight, and considering how much stronger Ziggy's shown to be over Shiki in this chapter, whatever Pino plans on doing in order to take him down better be very effective and definitely work. Otherwise, I don't see a way for Shiki to end up winning this fight by himself. Anyway, then we cut over to Team Holly again, and we see that while they're fighting against the robots, Jinn actually finds some opening and some wires inside Dead and Crow that lead to a room. And he actually tells Holly to go in there because he thinks that actually might lead to Dead and Crow's core. And when she goes in there, she actually ends up coming across Cure of all characters, who this is actually I think the first time we actually get to see him in person outside of him being on a ship, which I don't understand how he even got from space during that fight against all the dragons inside Dead and Crow without anyone noticing. But yeah, Cure is just kind of sitting here in his room, and he tells Holly he's surprised she made it this far inside Dead and Crow, and that's kind of where the chapter ends. And I guess this is kind of Hero implying that Cure might be a traitor in OSI, which is interesting, I guess. I mean, Cure isn't a character that's been really built up all that much. We've heard of him before this, and we got to see him like once a few chapters ago, but other than that, we really haven't known the character long enough for this traitor reveal to be a big thing. I mean, it's going to be a big deal when it comes to Holly, since he's mostly someone she trusted and seen as an ally, but yeah, as a character reveal for us, it's not really a big deal for him to be a traitor. Now, that being said, I will lose my shit if in the next chapter, Hero actually reveals that Cure this entire time was really Dead and Crow, and he was basically playing both sides, or better yet, maybe the Cure we see in space is actually the real Cure, and the one that's inside Dead and Crow right now, maybe that's a clone or a twin or something like that. I don't know. I'm just trying to find a way to make this reveal more interesting for me. Like I said, Cure's not the character that I was really all that interested in before this because we really didn't have much build up for him. But let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section down below with this whole reveal about Cure being inside Dead and Crow and whether or not you think he's a traitor. Anyway, that's it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop me a like. Subscribe to the channel. I'll greatly appreciate that. Check out some of the other videos on the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.